And we are live. So I'm holding up this gadget again because of a lot of misinformation about the glucometer. And new people are jumping on the keto train talking about stuff they don't have enough experience with. So a lot of people are coming new to this arena, and more people that I speak with have now either tried it or their workmates have tried it. It's like exploded, and just a lot of nonsense out there. Hello, everyone joining the chat. So I'm gonna dig a little bit into, and I just want to make these shorter streams because I realized, like I said before, people are not watching the replay if it's too long. What's up, everyone? I see you all coming in, so thank you. I'm going to talk about the glucometer, and I'm going to talk about urine strips. Now, I'm sort of titling my video after another woman's title of her video, and this is a woman I actually really like. I think she's really lovely, seems like a very kind, good person, but what she's saying is emphatically incorrect. Not with everything she says, because some of the stuff I actually agree with, but the stuff that's very important. Number one, I'm listening to her and I was like, stop, quiet, because, hi everyone, you'll watch the whole thing, awesome. So I'm like, okay, she thinks that, now first of all, she goes, I actually believe more in low carb, high fat, which I actually believe in as well as another sort of subsection of lowering your carbs, but I don't believe in low carb, low fat. And it sounds like when she's talking, she doesn't talk about fat. She's like, it really doesn't matter about your ketones. Like, it doesn't really matter. It just matters that you lower your blood sugar. And I was like, okay, what are you talking about? Context. If you don't put context into people, that the audience that you're speaking to, they're going to think, oh, I can just lower my carbs and call myself SCHOF, which means low carb, high fat, and the ketones don't matter. How does that make any sense? I don't understand. Okay, so if you're going to do a low, let's be specificity, right? Focus. My phone tends to want to focus on not the right things. Exactly. So this is a new person. She literally says in her video, I'm just using the word keto because it's very popular. And I was like, but all of your videos are titled something with keto. And you're not making any sense to the audience who is thirsty. And because you are a dietitian or, I don't know, nutritional something, people are going to listen more to her than they are to me because they're looking for some like paper degree or something. I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. I've been doing this 11 years and coaching people 10 out of the 11. So you'll learn a lot, as I've said before, through osmosis. With working with a ton of people, you're going to draw lines to everything. So I want you to understand, yes, it does matter what your ketones are. Yes, it does matter what your blood glucose is in conjunction with your ketones. Blood sugar and ketones matter. And there's a reason why I'm going to explain this very clearly. And so for those who've heard me say this before, it's nothing new. I know. But a lot of people are joining this whole keto vomit explosion of a trend. And it is a trend. Now, she was like, when Dr. Atkins did his thing, like nobody was using breathalyzers and glucometers. Where's my glucometer? Nobody's using glucometers then. That's because he was on the precipice of understanding what ketones were all about. He hadn't fully formed his ideology. And then she said that Atkins did great. People that Atkins did great. So you guys have this thing like, if you're losing tons of weight, you're doing great. But let me tell you something right now, okay? People don't tell you the truth. No one's telling you how crappy they feel manipulating their diet without understanding their current and prior health. People don't tell you the truth. So, if people are, I'll take questions in a sec. So if people aren't telling you the truth, are not telling you the truth, then every talking head will tell you stuff. You'll get confused. Ketones don't matter. It just matters about your glucose. Okay, what are the number ranges that your glucose should be in? She didn't say that. I mean, she didn't talk about insulin, A1C, she didn't talk about hypoglycemia, thyroid, anything. Just that You don't have to, ketones don't matter. I mean, she said that people were always searching for the high ketones. No, they don't. Most people don't even own one of these things. Okay? Most people don't. And believe it or not, people are still using urine strips. Then she started talking about the color of the urine strips. I'm like, okay, you don't understand. If you have purple on a urine strip, you are excreting ketones. Is that relative? Yes, because you're making them. Are you using them? Probably not, because they're ending up in your pee-pee. A lot of people who are adapted, like fully, the body knows how to break down and use ketone bodies as a viable source of energy to get into the Krebs cycle and pass the blood-brain barrier for energy. These people have a clear urine strip. How do I know? Not because I read somebody else's book, because I've worked with people. That's how I know. So this thing is a really amazing tool. And I'll tell you right now, this dual glucometer, this is also really, really great at trying to understand people's autoimmunity or their unstable blood sugar. And without it, it feels scary sometimes coaching people. Because if you have blood sugar instability, it's inflexible, or it's all over the place if you have metabolic inflexibility. And if your blood sugar is all over the place, 9 times out of 10, people with blood sugar that shoots up high and slams down low have their hair fall out. How many people are we know going to the doctor perfectly in the perfect time in this calm homeostatic balance as they're getting their fasted blood sugar checked? They're not. They're going in some, mid-morning or, later in the afternoon, which is subjective, and you've already been moving around. Your blood glucose is going to bounce all around because you are bouncing all around. That is why you take fasted numbers, right? You take fasted numbers because you're sleeping and you're not moving. So if your blood sugar is high, fasted, you're probably sprinting throughout the night with like, hey, Deborah. You guys see I'm not answering any questions yet. I don't know why I persist to answer. So Deborah, if you see people asking questions, I would suggest try not to answer, because if you're answering them, they're not listening. And people on the replay can't stand that when I'm being distracted trying to answer questions in this little short period, and then I'll take the questions. Thank you. So what I'm trying to explain is the reason why you test your fasted glucose is because you haven't done anything. And supposedly you have been sleeping and not eating in the middle of the night. So if your blood sugar is running high, there might be some blood sugar issues. Like you might be hypoglycemic in the middle of the night, which is why a lot of you guys wake up like bing at 3 o'clock and bing at 12 o'clock. You're like, oh, I gotta drink so much water. No, often it's not the water, because you have these strong hormones that shut off the sensation of peeing, right? It's because your blood sugar is dropping too low, typically. Now, sometimes it's one of the organs reacting, like your gallbladder, and it's releasing bile, and that will wake you up. Or the fact that you guys have inverted cortisol and you're just not deep enough into 4th or 5th level of sleep. But often it's because your blood sugar is freaking all over the place, and that's why you wake up, and that's why you cannot fall asleep, because you have inverted cortisol. So context is everything. You can talk out of your butt all day long about a subject because you just jumped on the keto conversation. Just because you read some journals does not mean you understand. Now, if you're telling people, and this is not a criticism, just generally speaking to this particular woman, because I actually like her. If you are telling people that it's only mattering about your blood sugar, no, it matters about your ketones. What are ketones that are too high? Okay, let's discuss what's too high. Too high is 19 millimolar. What's too high? 12 is getting up there. 9 millimolar is getting up there. But that's where the danger zone starts. When you're at 19, you're fracked. When you're at 9, it's like, careful with that. When you're at a 6 or a 7, you're most likely wasting these ketones because they're going higher. So the sweet spot, you guys, is a 2. What is it? Of course, I gotta read that. I booked a consultation with Miss S, and I am so ready for all this change doing right. Yeah, okay, awesome. So your ketones have to be in a sweet spot. Because if you're not making, listen to me, people, if you're not making enough ketones, or if they're too high, two things can happen. Hypoglycemia. And that's a condition you don't want to have to deal with. A severe condition. It really creates issues with your adrenal system, and then your thyroid, and then your sex hormones. So if your blood sugar is low, so what would be considered ketotic blood sugar numbers are between a 69 and 80. Now, 69 is on the lower side, but in theory, if you're fully adapted, you could go down to the 50s and be solid. The problem is through experience, okay? I'm not freaking reading other people's journals. I'm going to tell you what I'm going by pure experience. Most people that have their blood sugar in the 60s are hypoglycemic and not ketotic. Even if they're producing ketones over 1, they tend to be hypoglycemic. How do I know? Because you go by symptoms. What are the symptoms? Shaky. It's not just hangry. You're not just hungry and angry when you're hypoglycemic. You want to throw up, right? Sometimes you can't get off the floor. You feel sick. You feel sick to your stomach. You're shaky. You can't focus. Your brain is unclear. That's stressful. That's hypoglycemia. And if you keep muscling through this by shoving coffee down your throat, because people who are like really trying to do keto are like, I'm not gonna eat sugar, I'm not gonna eat sugar, I'm not gonna eat sugar. And then some people, and I've had a few people trust, that are so severely hypoglycemic from doing keto wrong, that one woman was explaining that she was going to drop off her car to get like an oil change. She's sitting in the waiting room. She starts to feel kind of dizzy, right? Hypoglycemia, a little shaky, a little nauseous. She goes into the bathroom, falls on the floor. She grabs her phone. She calls her boyfriend. She's like, I feel really, really sick. Bring something that's carbohydrates. Even though she was on keto, she's like, my blood sugar's really, really low. So he skids off and he goes over to her. She's in the bathroom. She's on the floor. He gets into the bathroom and he gives her, I think it was soda and some candy. So gives her soda and candy. You know what happens? She's vomiting nonstop, projectile, because it shot up her blood sugar too high and made her really sick. This is the reason why I do these types of live streams or videos, is to really talk about the stuff that no one ever does. And I talk about this because if you're aware of this, you can make better choices. These things that could happen, right? These keto flu symptoms. What I'm saying is that your blood sugar matters, because you could have a blood sugar in the 60s or even in the early 70s and be full on hypoglycemic. And I'm pretty darn sure you're going to be irritating the whole energy system that affects the thyroid and your reproductive system. This is by experience with people. So it does matter what your freaking ketones are, and it does matter what your blood sugar is combined, because then after looking at your ketones and going, okay, they're not at a 7, because if they're at a 7 or a 6 or even a 5, you could be hypoglycemic. So it does matter what your ketones are. And it does matter what your blood sugar is. So if you guys are like, I'm not even going to test my ketones because my blood sugar is too high. We need to know if you're even making the darn thing. Some of you guys have leaky gut. And if you have leaky gut, where's your ketones going to be? In your poo-poo. And then your poo-poo's going to float. And you're going to have a really greasy stool. Do other people talk about this? No, because it doesn't get views. It's not exciting. It's not sensational. You know what's sensational? Follow my 90-day keto, get lean program and be just like me at 51. Do I do that? Never. I would make so much money if I did that, but I can't. I just can't. And I'm talking about freaking greasy poo-poo. Crap. That's what my videos are about in live streams. I'm not like, oh, let's do some intermittent fasting, because all of you people who are obsessed and almost body dysmorphic, who are obsessed with getting skinnier and lean, especially women, because men don't want to lose their muscle. They want to get rid of this. Well, I'll intermittent fast and do a lot of HIIT training and I'll access that fat and it doesn't go away. How do I know? Because I work out 6 days a week and I'm watching these guys not get rid of it. I'm ranting right now. I'm so ranting. I don't want to call out anybody's name because I actually like this woman. I think she's got really good kernels of information. But if you start clickbaiting and using the word keto when you really mean low carb, yo, there's a big difference, you guys, between low carb and keto. Low carb is I'm eating carrots, I'm eating squash, I'm eating a lot more plants that have more carbohydrate count. I'm eating, if I'm having bacon and there's sugar in it, I'm not picking at the sugar in the bacon. I'm not picking at the totals, right? The sugar alcohols that totally frack your gut up. I'm going to have maybe potentially white rice if I'm having hypoglycemia. I'm splitting my starches with my fats. That's what low carb, high fat is. That's not paleo, right? Because paleo isn't, I don't do paleo. I really believe in a low carb, high fat. This is where I am in alignment with her. But I'm not going to call low carb, high fat keto to clickbait people because they're going to get confused. Why are you talking about low carb, high fat? And they're talking about ketones. Not the same, not the same, not the same. If you're talking about a low carb, high fat protocol, then you're really going to be looking at your blood sugar stability. That's when it's very, very important to not check your ketones as much. But if you're gonna put keto in your title, you need to know what your ketones are. And then like the comments were like, I just go by how I feel. I'm like, well, you don't know how you feel, people, because all of you are mother-sucking tired. You don't sleep well, you're tired. You see people age. You see people haggard. You see it, right? You see that they're having problems with the reproductive system and the hormones. You see it. I'm not blind. Go to the supermarket. Go anywhere. You see it. And living here in LA around all these freaking models and actors, and they're young. They're over half my age, younger. My age, younger. That's not right. Some of them are 20 years old. And they're so, I was talking to one of my millennials today, or I think he's even younger than a millennial. He's 22. And I was like, I'm not gonna say his name. I was like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, bro, your skin's not looking good. What are you eating? Oh, I eat really well. Well, let's deconstruct what you're eating because your skin looks irritated, like red. And he's like, I'm like, and why are you drinking so much coffee? Dark circles under the eyes. This is a model. I was like, you have to take care of your body. So when somebody who's older thinks that they're freaking, I go by my symptoms. Do you guys even know what your symptoms are? A lot of you don't even realize that when your piss is foaming, you're losing proteins. A lot of you women don't even understand how you have cellulite really in its entirety behind your leg, or why your cycle was 30 days long or 34 days long, or was shorter, like the days between your next menstruating cycle. The whole cycle itself, a lot of you guys don't understand. If you're going 28 days to 38 days to 40, or some of you guys are starting after 20 days or 19 days, all of these things matter when you completely radically change your dietary measure, because your body is just like somebody who's doing any type of, or drinking a lot. Your body gets used to toxins. You just take it away overnight and you can have this really bad reaction, sort of like a backslap reaction, right? You take away all the carbs and you put in all these healthy foods, and you can literally, if you have a mild hypoglycemia, go into full-on hypoglycemia, and you've got slightly low T3, and drop it down to the floor and your hair just starts pouring out of your head. So the levels for ketones and glucose are the glucose should be between 69 and 80. That's for people in the US, that's milligrams per deciliter. And for Europeans, it's really around a 4.0 to a 4.4 with symptoms. Your symptoms are important. Your pee should not be foaming. Your poop should sink and be of the right color, not pale. Pale in color either means gallbladder or leaky gut. You must have regular bowel movements. Yes. You've got to take care of this biliary system. You got to think about your liver function and your kidney function and your gallbladder, because the gallbladder is also very important. If you're doing any of these types of protocols, telling somebody that it doesn't matter how much fat you eat is so ridiculous. How do I know? How do I know this? Because I didn't have people eating 200 grams of fat in the beginning. They were eating like 190 grams of fat. Boom. Hypoglycemia and thyroid and sleep issues, rebounding electrolyte issues. And then as time goes on, your reproductive hormonal system gets wonky. It's so interesting. I have a course page, and I run this course page, and you could really see that when people are hypoglycemic, they're like, I have to eat my freaking fatty teas every couple of hours or else I go severely hypoglycemic on a keto protocol. And I really don't want to stop doing keto because my skin cleared up or other things cleared up, but I can't manage my blood sugar. We're always going to produce blood sugar. So when I say gluconeogenesis, I really want to preface, like when you're over adrenal stimulated of cortisol, right? When you're going into unnecessary gluconeogenesis constantly because your glycogen is depleted and you don't have enough ketone production or viability. So you're in this quagmire where your body's like, I need glucose. So I'm going to go into some proteins in this body, somebody's body, and break it down so I can get enough to survive so I don't have this brain issue. Cognition, clarity, coma. So your ketones need to be between a 1.8 and a 3.0. So you could have a blood sugar of like 78 and ketones at a 2.2, and it looks perfect on paper. But then you have to go by symptoms because I don't go by numbers alone because you can't track your body in numbers, right? So then you're like, okay, I'm actually making ketones. They're not rising too high. They're not too low. My blood sugar's not in the 50s. My blood sugar's not in the hundreds. So I know I'm not completely a nightmare, but I don't feel well. You could be not using those ketones. Not really, not enough of them. And your blood sugar's not high enough. There's no stored glycogen, so you don't feel well. So what do? You sit there confused on if you're ketosis or not because people throw that around like frisbees or STDs. I don't know. But with that said, you have to go by symptoms, which is there's no nausea, there's no bloat, right? You're not constipated, your stool is sinking, you can sleep at night, you don't have itchy scalp and dandruff and rashes and keto flu or dry eyes and dry mouth, and like all of these symptoms have normalized. Constipation, which people develop on keto because of magnesium deficiency or not getting enough magnesium because they lose a lot of water and their electrolytes with that. Because another thing I get is an electrolyte issue, and a lot of people are sitting here like, I got headaches and I got muscle cramps, headaches, and heart palpitations and dehydration on keto. A lot of people. So if you lose like 80 pounds, are you going to talk about that you had severe heart palpitations? No, because that's not going to garner a lot of attention and a lot of, oh, you did so well, Cindy. You did so well, because that's why people go and post stuff, is because they want everybody to love them on the internet. I got 60 people in the house. If I had titled this, Get Lean and Shredded, and just really showed my abs and the perfect lighting and just clickbaited titled the whole thing, y'all would be on this live stream like, You must look at your symptoms. Your poop must sink, people. I don't mean most of it sinking like, the tail end floats. No, it all goes down. That you're not bloated when you eat these particular foods, that you rotate your foods, right? You have to understand that candida problem, the candida die-off, the systemic candida. You guys, what about depression and doing keto the wrong way? Because we know if your blood sugar is unstable, that serotonin is hitting the floor and you're going to feel awful. Guys are eating all of this garbage food, waiting for the weight loss to happen so you can look aesthetic. Doesn't work like that. Okay, I'm going to take your questions and bounce. So just want to say that this woman, I think she's a sweetheart. She's a really lovely person. But people on the internet who are not used to speaking in front of a camera, it's a high. You're like, oh, I'm getting a lot of love from people I don't know. I've been doing this for so long. I am diligent about people not getting injured. That's my lane. Okay, fasted in the morning. Makes so much sense. Thank you. What do you think about vegan gains? Oh, did I? Sometimes when you read stuff, you just say, I was like, what do I want to say about him? I got nothing to say, right? I think Richard is very intelligent. I don't know him. And I see stuff and I'm like, but it doesn't matter. It's not the world I live in. I find it quite entertaining to watch him. I think he's very smart though. He's a very intelligent cat. Yeah. But if I'm going to start talking about vegan gains, no. Why? It's not my lane. Yes, I have treated people with lipidemia. Yes. Lipedema, not lipidemia. So what if T3 is low and losing hair on strict keto? And this is, thank you, what is this? Who's this person? Is it TP? You can't listen to what's on the internet stratosphere. You've got to find out if you have sensitivities to food. So if you weren't a big cheese eater and you start eating a bunch of cheese from sick cows, you're going to create an inflammatory response. That's not going to help your thyroid. If you just run to the nuts and you've got phytate issues, boom, that's a problem. If you're a coffee drinker and now you're intermittent fasting, and that is one of the biggest reasons why people's hair starts falling out. So I start to see the carnivore world now. The hair's falling out on carnivore. You have to, unfortunately, it's like trying to find the lesser of the two evils. Like, you're the person, if your hair's falling out, you don't want to intermittent fast. Unfortunately, your regulatory systems aren't working. Your hormones aren't working. So fasting and then running off, and not like a true hunter-gatherer is going to be chilling in a tribe, not cardio and jobs and bills and kids and blah, 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 blah. So you have to, unfortunately, probably do 3 meals per day, plus probably some fat-loading snacks, as long as your gallbladder is functioning properly and you have enough digestive enzymes to break down that in your HCl stomach acid. And so you have to do a lot of experimentation, and you have to make sure that you don't respond negatively to any of these fats, right? People like dump olive oil in a frying pan. I'm like, nope, that's a problem. You know what I mean? It's like, are olives enough fat? No, because a lot of too many olives means too many carbohydrates, and it's great to have monounsaturated fats, but your main fats always must be animal fat on a ketogenic protocol, not coconut oil or MCT oil. And one thing she did say, which I totally agree with, if you see a spike in your ketones because you had MCT oil, that's the MCT oil. That's not your body. You want to access, I mean, she did say some things like, you know, if you're eating a lot of fat, then how you're going to lose weight? I'm like, it's a high-fat diet. You're trying to get your brain to stop being addicted to glucose. You want your body to start breaking down the dietary fat first, and then the fat on your body, and using it as energy. You absolutely can burn fat without being on keto. So that's where the confusion is, and I agree with her with that. You don't have to do keto to burn fat. But a lot of you guys have autoimmune issues, especially to plants. Then what you gonna do? What if you eat a salad and you see bits of your food in your freaking crap? You're forced to do more of a keto or keto carnivore protocol to heal that gut wall. So yes, low carb, high fat, but what are carbs? Mostly from plants. So if you have a problem with certain plants, which I realize after coaching so many of you guys, so many of you do. I can eat this and that, but when I eat an avocado, I just don't feel that good after. I'm like, well, don't eat the avocado. But I saw a good recipe for blah, blah, blah with it. You can't do that. Everybody's got to know their existing issues before they do something that takes, like, you got to deconstruct. Because if you eat an inflammatory food and your body is blocking that pathway to use ketones or even make them, you're going to feel like crap. Of course the body can recover. Like somebody said, can the body can recover after eating a bunch of crap or drinking? And I'm like, of course. But you have to cross that bridge and be ready to take your body in a new direction. And people aren't, they're such creatures of habit. Once that whole like synapse, that identity that sits right here, and once you've developed your character, people have a hard time changing their habits. Like relaxing in the evening and breathing and meditating and getting outside and put their feet in the dirt and, you know, exercising. If you're not exercising, like, people are creatures of habit, which doesn't work in the modern society because our bodies are designed to survive, and we don't have to survive because I got food right there. You know, that nullifies a lot of the way this body is designed. So I try my hardest to mimic a lot of the things in nature. See, by the way, I stopped doing cardio and the scale is starting to move down. But definitely saw a dramatic change on my body, as also my ketone levels stabilized. Oh, Juan, that's awesome. So people also have this sort of myth thinking that you have to do a lot of cardio and eat less calories to lose weight. But these people don't factor in people who've got leptin issues, low testosterone, estrogen dominance, thyroid, hypoglycemia, and leaky gut, SIBO, histamine. Yeah, I said histamine. A lot of you guys have this stuff. So you can't just go and do these dumb things. You will jack up your metabolism even more. Let's see. Check out your meat. Makes so much sense. Paid for. I paid for a program that had fruit. It was a waste of money, a waste of time, a waste of money. Fired up, I know. Don't forget to like up the stream, you guys. Brings people to this, and as I call it, a humble channel, you know that it is. It brings people to this humble channel. So to do that, you hit the X, collapse the whole chat, and you will see the icons on the bottom. One of them is a thumbs up, and then you'll see another icon to re-enter the chat, because sometimes people are like, how do I get back into the chat? And then that helps bring people along the way. So if we can get those likes up, because we got 72 people in the house and 36 likes. 36? Yeah. So let's get this thing up. And I'm trying to answer your questions, you guys, as best as I can. Can you please tell us, can you please tell us how is that you must be asking how to make bone broth. Hold on. Now, people make bone broth in different ways. So some people like to add, so you got to realize, if you're doing just the broth, you're gonna, if you add something like vegetables and keep the meat in, that's more of a soup. So there is a difference. The broth is just the liquid. There's not enough fat from the marrow to actually give you enough fat on a ketogenic diet. So I tell people often to add fat, lard, tallow, butter into it. Not only will it make it taste amazing, but it's giving you more of that fat, that high fat that you need to make ketones and to stabilize the blood glucose. Now, you can add things like spring onions, only the green part, or celery, or what else? But only for like a hot minute, for like 20 minutes of, let's say, a 10, 15, 20, 30 hour cooking process. Now, the longer you cook it, people are trying to, they've got collagen, they got the bone knuckle end of the cow, it's all bristly and all the cartilage. Yeah. And then also with oxtail and pig feet, you have to cook it longer to break down the collagen, break it down into collagen. That's why you cook it longer. If you don't have a problem with herbs, you could do Italian herbs like thyme, oregano, basil. You could do garlic, salt, pepper. If you don't have a problem with nightshades, which a lot of you guys do, which is the pepper, and just make a yummy broth. Like if you have no problem with butter, you'd have butter. You could put like these herbs in it and this takes away that like bone smell. Because a lot of people are like, oh my God, it's so gross. It just smells like rotting bones. But if you actually spice it perfectly, oh, it's getting dark in here. It'll be all right. So this is almost soon time for me to go. That is your friend. Yeah, girl, where do you get your K2 liver? I wanted to do a stream about how to cook liver, but I think I want to do that later, like liver and kidney. So as you guys see here, I'm about to make some liver tonight. Ooh. So here's my liver. Oh, Lord have mercy, water dripping. So I was going to go into how to make liver, and I actually did a live stream like cooking liver live, but a lot of people are starting to use kidney for trying to get more production of the enzyme diamine oxidase when you guys have histamine intolerance and you're reacting like histamine and allergies to food. So kidney would be really great for that. And liver is just ultimate because it has so many vitamins and minerals in it to balance things out when people have selenium deficiencies and copper, zinc imbalances, and have not enough D or the other the vitamin A or vitamin E, K, the K2. Let's see, girl, did you get your, what? Whittier with, like getting Whittier, the Indian brother out. And what is it? I'm just saying. I don't know. I've been like this my whole life. You guys know I used to be a professional skateboarder, like the first African American pro skateboarder in history, and did a lot of traveling a lot around the world, and never lived a traditional life of like get up, go to the jobs, have the house and the kids and the debt. I never lived that life, and so you spend a lot of selfish time. It is getting too dark in here. Too dark. I spend a lot of time being able to think, and I think that plays a big role in how you perceive life. I'm a strong person. My mother is and was very strong with me growing up. So I am not a doormat unless I choose to be one. And there have been moments, I think, in everybody's life where we become more of a doorknob because I'm very empathic and I'm very like nurturing. It doesn't seem like it on a stream, but in real life with real people around me, I have a hard time to not try to connect with people. But anyway, with that said, when you guys do keto, there's so many things to balance. Liver is nature's superfood. It is actually, Paul, you're right. It is like the biggest superfood, and it has changed my life. The day that I reintroduced, because my mom used to make liver as a kid, and I forgot that she did. I don't remember. But the second I reintroduced it back as an adult, I have not stopped since, and I've had it every single day. So people are really, really worried about the vitamin A toxicity, and other health professionals will say have it twice a week at least. But I have at least an ounce or two every day. You see, doing the first few weeks, you mentioned time under tension. Oh yeah, time under tension. Can you please explain, should one exercise when tired during adaptation? You can exercise, but you need to take down the weight and the volume. If your tiredness is like, if you're super hardcore keto flu lethargy, switching with not having glucose or stored glycogen for like 4 days, don't work out. But like if you still feel tired after a week or two, something's wrong. You probably had unstable blood sugar prior to doing keto, and then you would reintroduce carbs in your day and it would bump you up and you would crash, but you'd get that bump. If you're not adapting, there's no bump, right? For people who've got unstable blood sugar, there's just massive drops. And then the body might go into this massive adrenal response. You might have a physiological insulin resistance rebound where it just skyrockets. And that's another thing that people don't talk about, is your blood sugar skyrocketing on keto. And you're like, how is my blood sugar over 100? How is that possible? I haven't eaten any carbohydrates. That's through stress. And people can never find homeostasis. Their blood sugar is like this all the time. And the only reason to find out is because they end up using this, which you should get. It's only a couple bucks. Why freaking not use it, at least for the short term, at least for a month, to try to understand the algorithms of your stress and your blood sugar and your ketones? You don't have to use it forever. I don't use this anymore. But for the short term, yeah, it's awesome. Not the freaking urine strips that are inconclusive, or the breathalyzer, which is absolute garbage because nobody even talks about that anymore. And ketones do matter. Hello? I reduce my bone broth to make bouillon and freeze it. Muffin tins really, okay, so that's cool. I just want to remind everybody there is glutamate in bone broth. So if you guys have an issue, histamine issue with that, and ironically, you're trying to get all the health benefits, and one of the proteins is glutamate, then you would cook your bones a lot less, or just do a meat broth if you're reacting to bone broth. But for the rest of you, awesome, her recipe. Hi, 2 weeks into keto, and my blood pressure is going up to like exactly 129/82 after a high-fat meal. Also, at times getting super tired, way exhausted. Thank you. Who's this? Matt? Matt's a great example of that. People like Matt should end up on my channel. So I don't tell you like, oh, just do more lower carb and don't worry about the fat, and just like watch your blood pressure skyrocket even more. So Matt, I don't know if you're eating cheese or nuts or coffee or intermittent fasting. I don't know if you're going to bed earlier than normal. I don't know if you're trying to squeeze out the same workouts as you did before. I don't know what your blood sugar was prior. I don't know what kind of diet you had prior, because that also really, really matters. If you went from, if you were hangry before, I don't know if your electrolyte imbalance went down the toilet, because anytime your body's under stress, it can spike up your blood pressure. Definitely, especially if you're having an adrenal dump response. So if you don't sleep well, and you're eating the wrong foods, and your gut's not agreeing with the foods that everybody else says on all these channels is keto approved, your blood pressure can skyrocket because your body's under stress. So those are the details I would need to know. And I do suggest you guys have a keto course page. I've been saying this every stream, because in the beginning, I think for the first 2 years, I never even mentioned it once. Now I'm mentioning it because now I know more. Okay? So, and Deborah's reminding you on how to like up the chat. So look at her caps, how she explains it. And if you want to sign up for the keto course, you go to stephanieperson.com. You guys, I also do consultations. And believe it or not, I could help someone like Matt, whose blood pressure is going up in 5 minutes. Because you have to, unlike doctors, you got to sit down with people and ask them, what is going on with your life? What was your health prior? What are your habits? Like, are you a mouth breather? Do you have sleep apnea? Do you wake up a lot during the middle of the night? Were you ever drinking alcohol? Did you ever do drugs? Like, you have to ask these tough questions, right? Do you have a candida overgrowth? Have you had shingles? I mean, like the aches and the pains and the not healing and like the boils and you got to ask it all. All the stuff that seems embarrassing, I go right there. The thing with carnivore is that people are starting to realize they can go to carnivore and try to heal their gut because they're reacting to some of these plants, which I must say, watching the vegan community just tell everybody you are hallucinating about your issues is bizarre. Why would you tell someone that they're hallucinating? This world, child, honey, is bizarre sometimes. If you're feeling bad, the whole problem about the medical system is that you go to the doctor and you tell them, I've got these pains, and they go, oh, here's an antidepressant. And you're like, no, I'm not depressed. I feel bad. Well, we tested your blood numbers and they're fine. We checked this and you're fine. And they just send you out the door with either pharmaceuticals, or they send you out with making you feel ashamed that you feel a certain kind of way, because they can't find it, because doctors only know such a small percentage of how the body works, that they send your butt out the door making you feel like you're being paranoid. And then you've got other people telling other people, oh, you're fine, you're not sick, you're hallucinating. Where's the world coming to? It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. Deborah's reminding you guys to book a consultation. Go to stephanieperson.com and she spells it out for you. So thank you, Deborah, who volunteered to be a moderator on my channel. And it's just been the most beautiful experience ever, because people will still land on some of my old live streams where I'm like debating with people, and you're just like, now I've woken up and I'm like, how dumb was I back then? And she says, my consultations are amazing. And they really are. Everyone that I've had like really positive response, and like, when can we book again, and trying to go overtime, and I've got one more question. Let me see. I told my doc I will not take cholesterol meds. Yeah, okay. Like, the doctors will be like, look, I'm giving you a gift. You can either take my advice or you could be a dumbass and not. They really talk to you, not all of them, but most of them just talk to you like you're a piece of wood. And then you've got other people commenting on other people. I don't even care anymore. I'm learning. People want to do whatever diet that they want on this planet, you do it. But if y'all gonna talk about keto, that's my lane, okay? You guys know I've just been doing this a long time. And I'm not a 30-something-year-old woman. I'm in my 50s, and soon I'll be 52. It matters. Hot flashes. So hot flashes are most likely due to it's not just your, you're like, oh, it's your hormones. It's not just your hormones. It's other varying factors, right? Your adrenal system, right? This whole thing with pregnenolone steal and too much cortisol, and it's robbing from your sex hormone tree, pregnenolone and then DHEA, and you guys have problems with your DHEA. And then your estrogen dominates, or your estradiol, and then your testosterone drops as a woman. And then really what probably is bringing on the flashes is when that progesterone hits the floor. Then you flash. So what makes it hit the floor? Stress. Toxins that your body can't deal with. Bad sleep. That's why your progesterone goes boom. Oh, of course, medications and drinking and smoking and, taking dumb supplements you don't need to take that could be injuring the body. Oh yeah, in the consultation, like when I'm on a live stream, you just got like tons of questions pumped and you're just trying your hardest to answer. But in a consultation, this isn't like going to a doctor's office. When you're trying to tell someone, I don't feel well, how do I fix this? I want to use keto to fix these issues. Well, I want to know what the issues are. I'm not going to be like, okay, well, you just follow this generic diet plan, do this, do that, get some blue blockers, take some magnesium, and here's your program, and next person. No, I don't do that. I go there. We go there. Somebody wrote vegan consultation. The problem with now, I'm not a vegan expert, but I could try to do a vegan consultation as to find out if any of these plant source foods are irritating your body. But vegan keto doesn't work. Now, the reason why I say that is because vegan keto is a high carb diet, and keto, not just the word keto, there's a science behind it. It's a high fat diet, and you can't just sit and drink olive oil, because you know what? Olive oil oxidizes quite quickly, and olive oil doesn't have the balance of the 3 fatty acids that you need to produce ketones, which is mono, saturated, and poly. That's the problem with olive oil, is that it dominates too much in mono, and people are not adapting on olive oil. And if you have and avocados, which is also mono, and you can't eat a bunch of nuts, there's a lot of mycotoxins on them and a lot of carbohydrates and phytates. So what are you going to eat on a vegan keto diet? Spinach, which is not robust enough to make you feel full. We're going to eat a big bowl of broccoli where the carbohydrate count gets too high and you don't digest the fiber that well. And then dump a bunch of olive oil on it. It's like people aren't adapting. They're just not. And like having all that fat and all that fiber together in the gullet, child, let me tell you, that's a recipe for unsuccess. No. People's blood sugar is fracked out on a vegan keto protocol. Don't believe me? Get one and test it with me. Christine's like, sorry, I posted 4 times. I'm excited to catch the stream, and that makes me feel awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. And yes, Paul, congrats on your transformation. What do you mean? Does someone need to take T3 supplements if they have hypothyroidism? I'm very leery about supplements. I'm like, well, let's go try to find out why your T3 dropped anyway. Stress, toxins, smoking, alcohol, poor sleep, going to bed too late, too much exposure to blah. You need to address all of that first to see if your T3 production, if you haven't developed any type of Hashis, and get your blood sugar on point fleek correct. Maybe for a very short term, and I still am grappling with the idea of taking Armor or Nature Throid. But the goal isn't, as humans, to be on supplements and medications our entire life unless you have some crazy genetic mutation and you need to not die. You learned it all from me. Oh, thank you, Paul. Oh yeah, with the thyroid, you have to understand your deficiencies. Are you vitamin D deficient? Because a lot of you guys aren't getting enough vitamin D. You don't use light boxes to get like fake sunlight vitamin D. You don't have enough D-rich foods. You're not getting enough selenium, enough iodine. You're not getting enough zinc for thyroid hormone production. And then you sleep bad on top of that. And then you drink coffee on top of that. And that's what can like kind of exacerbate the whole thing, the whole system. T3 doesn't downregulate because of keto. T3 downregulated because you have thyroid issues before you ever did keto, and then you do keto the wrong way. It's not keto that makes the thyroid frack out. It's you. Lots of people do a ketogenic protocol without their T3 dropping to the floor. Okay, guys, it's time for me to go. I told myself I was going to do 30, and now I'm at 51 like a complete idiot. The sun's going down, and I just want to do a quick stream. I don't want to bash anyone. I respect everybody's got kernels of information, but I was watching this woman. I was like, oh, she's really awesome, but she's saying a bunch of stupid, ridiculous, stuff that is going not by experience, because you ain't working with people who've done this, and it takes years. You guys look at my first videos, like, what was I doing, right? But nobody else was doing keto, so better that I had some information than none. But now it's a game changer to what I did and said before years ago. And I'm going to tell you, if I would have known then what I know now, I wouldn't have done keto videos. I wouldn't have done that because I would be putting people at any type of jeopardy or risk because I just hadn't worked with that many people. I had like cheese and nuts on my website. It's crazy the stuff that I was promoting that I don't promote now because people were having issues with those things I was promoting. That's the reason why I switched it up. It's not because I want to tell people they can't eat these things and I want to be strict. No, it's just that people were getting sick and I'm always worried about that. I'm worried more about that, me giving advice to people that affects their health, than $1. No, because I've been doing this for so long. I could be like Thomas DeLauer and Dr. Berg. I could go and I can do that. I can't though. I just can't. I cannot. I'm always going to talk about the risks of doing things the wrong way as my leading subject into these videos. Be very, very, very careful. And I'm always going to show the mother sucking business because Steph ain't lying. I'm not hiding, right? With 7 years of doing videos like this where people can see if I'm getting worse or better on keto. And I don't mean to call out those two people. They're probably, I think Thomas DeLauer seems like a lovely person, and so does Dr. Berg. He seems like a nice, chill guy, but they do like to sell crap, and I don't. And my channel takes a hit because I don't tell you what you guys want to hear. I don't talk about the intermittent fasting because people are getting sick on it. They're not going to talk about that because that won't make money. If you talk about the dangers, I talk about the dangers of keto and I promote it. If you don't do it, you can get sick on keto for sure. Your hair can fall out. You'll have issues, right? So I'm the person that likes to say, be careful on all these trends. It can be a problem. But if you do it the right way, gosh, can it be so friggin' gosh, no. I'm not correcting my verbiage. God, it can be so amazing. Okay, guys, that is it. Thank you. Oh, I missed the fiber. Who sent me a fiber? Deborah, I missed that. Ranting. Used to be addicted to carbs, sugar. Now I'm addicted to you. Ah, thank you so much. Rick, thank you. Luke says you're the best. What's your PayPal? Look, just you can join my keto course group. It's $15 a month, and then just stop going after a month if you want to donate, because then you can actually get some work that I go to instead of being like, oh, here's my Patreon, which I don't have, or here's my PayPal, or purchase a meal plan, or go to the a course page, because then it'll, that's what I do for a living. So then I'm actually working for anything that you donate, and that's so sweet. Oh, there's a super chat too. I forgot. There's a super chat, you guys. You can donate. I always forget that it's there. Clearly, I am not doing live streams for the super chat. Okay, clearly, because I keep forgetting that you could go. I think there's like a money symbol under the chat window, and you just hit it, and then you can donate that way. But I forget that it's there all the time. I love your integrity. Thank you. I appreciate that, Matt. Sleep. What? Somebody needs sleep? Katie? Let's see here. It is. Does one need to take? Okay, I just read that. Oh, that was B. Martin. Thank you, Martin. B. Martin. Thank you. Thank you for donating to the super chat, which I forgot was there. But I really appreciate anybody donating at all. Not because I'm looking for the money, but because people are spending their hard-earned money on me, which means they believe in what I'm freaking saying. So that means the world to me, that you care about what I'm saying. So I appreciate that. Yeah, you can either do a consultation, which I love talking to people. I love the consultations, and I love learning. And people are like, where did you get your degree? Or how do you even know this? How do you know? And I'm like, the amount of hours, 3,000 people I've been coaching over the years, you're going to learn a lot. If I take this schooling ideology out, right, and take all of the studies, which can be subjective because the different cases that you're working with, and you're just going by osmosis and you're learning from everyone and you're writing it all down in notes, you start drawing those red lines. You're like, oh, thyroid, oh, adrenal, oh, your progesterone just landed on the floor. Oh, the parasites and the candida, and the people who've got insulin resistance and the leptin issues and the hormone. I mean, you're like, whoa, the fissures in the freaking anus, like the thyroid women, like the freaking blood in the stool, in the upper GI tract and the lower GI tract, and the hemorrhoids, and all the stuff that no one talks about. Right? The white tongue and the smelly vagina and the smelly mouth, and like no one is talking about this stuff. And it's not your fault always that your mom didn't like birth you vaginally, or you weren't breastfed, or you were fed certain things that your body just the microbes went with, or you were taking antibiotic treatments as a child for something. That's not your fault. So you can only, not be embarrassed about these things that happen to you, but clean up the damage. Because if you don't, I don't understand people. Like, if you're suffering, why suffer? Because no one else talks about it? Because it's too embarrassing, right? Man boobs and gynecomastia and all the stuff that people go through. It's so interesting because I used to be a pro skater, so I'd be around guys all the time, and it's like, they don't like to go bald. They hate going bald. They hate it. But women, we care so much just about being respected and loved and inspired and motivated. We're not looking at how many freaking hairs you have on your head. Now, women can say, oh, I like this, and I like this, and I like a man with hair, and I like him this tall, and I like him blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, you can walk on your planet your whole life and not get those qualities, those aesthetic qualities that you want in someone. And at the end of the day, you just want to be loved. And it's like, the pressure that people are having, and the plastic surgeries and the alterations. And it's like, it just blows my mind at 51. It's blowing my mind. And I never understood what men would be like complaining about, because women, we got it, right? We've got the freaking swelling and the PMS and the freaking all of the cysts and the polycystic ovarian syndrome and the fibroids and the dysmenorrhea and the amenorrhea and like all this stuff that men don't go through, right? The cellulite and the mood swings and the pregnancy, like Men don't know that we are freaking strong warriors. So when I hear men, and women are so objectified, they have to look a certain way. When I see a grown man talk about, ew, it's so gross, the period blood, ew, or when I see a grown man like, oh my God, she's so gross, she's got cellulite in the back of her legs, I'm like, you're not serious, right? I don't like it. I'm like, she barely has anything. This is what I'm hearing from the millennials because they grew up with all these fake friggin' images, and then people want to do keto or intermittent fast because they want this aesthetic body that is not as achievable as it everybody screams and hollers with a bunch of lies on the internet. And I got to come up here and clean up all the damage control and tell you all the truth that I didn't get this body because of my genetics. It was painstaking blood, sweat, and tears every single day of my life. I don't play around, and I don't complain, and I would eat dirt on the ground if that's what I needed to do to be healthy. So that's the difference. I am just so in this ranting mood tonight. So you guys, sorry. I just get so frustrated, and I hear these young people, and I hear people who are older, they're like, now it's over. Now their bodies are falling apart. And then I try to tell these young people, be careful because you might end up there. And then the young people don't listen to me. So I'm really grateful for those who do, who are starting to get it. See, just don't give a damn anymore. And kinda adapt, but I don't think you're... I don't think your analogy of men and women is... No, I'm speaking generally. Don't get triggered, okay? It's age. It's a lot of men, and that's not you, and that's not everyone. If you hear me speak in broad strokes, it's never every single person on the planet. So I'm just vocalizing some of the things that I hear today. People look at a magazine, they Photoshop everything. So I am not hallucinating, honey child, okay? I am not hallucinating. Instagram and all this stuff, and people will say like, Stephanie, I want to look just like you, and I'm like, huh? First of all, we have different genetics. Number two, to be this healthy at this age and battling with life, with your health, you have to work so hard. And some people, and luckily I have the reality where I can sit and figure it out and do the right thing. Some of you guys are just so overworked, you can't, it's hard to make those decisions. So don't get triggered. We're like, oh, I don't agree with you. If you actually had a conversation with me, you would agree with everything. But 2 seconds on a live stream isn't going to give you context, right? Of course, not everybody's going to think that way. Of course, there's some beautiful people out there who aren't completely like mind effed and can see the realness. But if you knew the amount of women who are so stressed out about their body image, it would just behoove you. How sad it is. How much pressure that women have to be a certain way. It's a sickness. It's an illness of today's society. And men, I see it now too. And yes, don't tell me that men don't care about losing their hair, because 90% of them care a lot. It's the one thing where it's just like, you know, I used to work out until I had to work 8 hours a day anytime I got left, either sleeping or watching TV. Yeah, I hate to get up early and blah, blah. TV's, okay, it's the same person writing the same thing. Just so you guys know, I've had severe crippling rheumatoid arthritis for 38 years. 2 or 3 years ago, I was almost put in a wheelchair. Went straight to keto with Steph 2 years ago. Now I'm doing fantastic. So I know I got off topic, sorry. Thank you for kind of clearing that up, Deborah, and putting me back on track. Okay, sometimes they sell frozen meat at Whole Foods. Is that a no-no? I mean, Alex, what can you do, right? Yeah, it's not as fresh as you want it to be. You just sometimes ask, when did they freeze it? If it came fresh to them and they froze it, that's a little bit better. But sometimes it is what it is. I'd rather have you get grass-fed liver that was frozen than none at all, and just eating a bunch of chicken thighs. Sorry guys to go off topic. I'm just so frustrated with just everything that I see online, and I have so many consultations where people are so happy, and then they'll do the intermittent fasting and they'll do all these things because they're so desperate to change their body composition, and then their symptoms just get worse because they get impatient because we're lied to on the internet. And then I go off on tangents, so sorry about that. Okay, no, but I'm already stressed out at work. It's kind of hard going through working out again, which for me is more stress. You just have to look at it differently with working out. Sometimes I'm telling people just to do a 12-minute workout just to get blood flow going, right? Just to get blood flow with oxygen to the muscle cell, to the mitochondria. And you may not have time to go to a gym or have a full workout, but just doing a little bit of movement is better than nothing. And that's why people just go, screw it, I'm too tired, I don't have time. And then they don't do anything, and our bodies are designed to be constantly moving. You start to have issues, and people have issues with the gallbladder. They're sitting at their jobs all day, and the upper trunk doesn't get enough circulation, so you've got to move. Steph thinks yeah, is great. I'm 42, very thin, but with fertility issues, eating low carb for 2 weeks. My cycle is between 19 days. Do you recommend doing keto? Yes, yes, I do. I would just need to know more, because sometimes keto can reignite that period to be more regulated, or it can be a complete opposite. It's how you do your own protocol in your own home. Let me see. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Are you the only person who talks about thyroid axo thing? Yeah. Oh, is it ECT? So okay, so I think okay. Yeah, I think so. I think people do mention it, but they don't put a lot of attention onto it, because if you're talking about like dietary changes and you talk a lot about thyroid, it's either people saying that keto will damage your thyroid, which is such garbage. If it's done the wrong way, yes, then they are right. But they don't put things into context. And a lot of people who are naysayers of keto is because they're like low carb or paleo, and they haven't done it. Like, I've done this thing for 11 years. So I know what the wrong thing to do is trust, and what the right actions to take. And sometimes it's graduating yourself from a low carb, high fat diet into keto very, very, very slowly. And sometimes you have to go and make so many lifestyle changes or keto won't work. So yes, I'm a person who talks about thyroid, the benefits of doing a ketogenic protocol. But dang, y'all got to be very, 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 very careful trying to do keto with thyroid issues. And like I said, a lot of you have deficiencies, stress, toxins. You're not methylating, you're not detoxifying, the organs are stressed out. And then you try to do keto, and then you go and eat cheese, nuts, and intermittent fast and do HIIT training, and your hair just plummets out of you. So yes, I'm probably the only one who feels very comfortable with talking about the benefits of doing keto and having a thyroid issue, or how it'll destroy your thyroid. Not destroy it, but like, not, you won't be happy. Let's just put it that way. You'll be more constipated. See. Deborah's like, I wasn't trying to get you on track, just confirming some of the new folks that keto's done right can drastically improve your health. Thank you, Deborah. Because you can see the comments better than I can, especially now that it's nighttime. We see I did the diet, actually worked with me with not eating carbohydrates, so no bread, no rice, no sugar. Actually worked, but I gave it up. Should I do it again? I don't know. Was that keto or was that low carb, high fat? Okay. Do you take any hormones? Hell no, child. Honey. This is full natty. Boom. No, I don't touch that stuff, because HRTs, hormone replacement therapy for women, is very dangerous. Okay. For men, it's a little bit easier, but for us women who've got crazy little hormones, y'all got to be careful with those hormones. You can create more problems more than you know. This is a full natty body. It's a lot of work. Do you take any hormones? Is one be careful with hormone supplement like testosterone while on keto? Definitely, if you're a woman, like, no. I see blood sugar spike with pharmaceuticals, like, and then the ketones go, and the liver's like, help me, I'm dying. I got to filter and all this nasty stuff that man makes. Methylating, how do I explain this? A lot of you guys have fracked up systems. A lot of you guys have the single or double gene MTHFR gene mutation. You have a very difficult time getting in folate. And so you need folate to help kind of like, sort of like a detoxing the body, but more have the body running smoothly. So all of the processes in the body are in balance. And a lot of people have a hard time to get B12, so they need methylated B12, which is, man has its dirty hands on us. But the body is really good. It can learn how to methylate without supplement. That's very rare because a lot of people can't deal with your stress and get your body in balance. But you don't necessarily have to take methylfolate. Some do, some don't, to methylate, to essentially detox or to heal, to have the body remain healing with a genetic mutation. Alex, are you a girl or are you Alex and Stephanie? It must be the Stephanie part. Bikini? Yeah, Stephanie. You have the same name. It is possible to do, let's say, if I didn't have a jacked up knee, I could do easily a fitness bikini or figure, although those women are starting to take stuff, I'm not gonna lie. Like all of the women, like let's say 5 years ago, you could do one of those competitions and, you know, to get lean on keto, but it is a lot. Did I put my earbuds back into its case? I hope I did. Can you guys hear me okay? I completely forgot to put those earbuds back in the case. And if this sound is bad, I'm going to be so pissed. So thank you, Matthew. Can you guys hear me all right? I think I didn't put my Wi-Fi ear things back in the case. Okay. There's something more annoying than talking for over an hour and then the sound doesn't work. Okay. Sound is great. You sound perfect. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. I told myself 30 minutes and look, it's over an hour. You can hear me well. Thank you. So thank you, everyone, for today's chat. I try to get off. I try not to turn on lamps and do a stream because it jacks up my cortisol at night. And that's how aware you have to be of your body. Thank you, Deborah, so much for moderating this stream. Looks like we've had not a crazy bunch of insecure and projecting people making nasty comments in the stream, as people love to do. So sorry for my ranting, you guys. I get a little passionate sometimes, and I try to keep the stream short so people don't hear me ramble into an hour. So good night, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And just one. Deborah says, just one. Just one. Okay, guys, have a wonderful evening. And if you see the replay, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe and notification bell and, you know, suggestions for more videos in the comment area. Because that's all the stuff you're supposed to do like a millennial. Okay, so ridiculous. Okay, fabulous. All right, guys, peace out. I'm going to eat some liver soon, as soon as I make it. And I'll talk about how to make liver and kidney next stream.